My dear, bye. Bye, my daughter.
Don't
Hi,
mention.
safe journey.
Don't mention.
Please,
Thank you.
please, just let us know as soon as you arrive,
Absolutely. As soon as we arrive, I will give you a call, alright? Yes, alright. Bye.
Join us next week for another edition of I Wish I Knew Radio Drama. I Wish I Knew Radio Drama is brought agency for the prohibition of
to create awareness against human trafficking. MICAT, in partnership with NAPTIB and with...
Hello.
Yes, we can hear you.
Thank you very much for that question. Again, it is a pleasure to be on the call. First of all, what is technology? It is the application of scientific knowledge to technical systems to solve problems, improve efficiency, and enhance human capacity. So in the area of human trafficking, we know that this thing has existed before time even existed. Going back to history, and we know how difficult it would have been for them trying to meet with the people who they're selling to, and then trying to meet with the potential of the controlling, whereby we have some of these victims eventually, most times they get, let's say, chips implanted and dealt with in the process. And sometimes their phones are also monitored, so they don't even process. And sometimes their phones are also monitored, so they don't even have escape proof. You have less than 1 minute for this call.
Oh.
They're even threatened, yes.
Okay, Caroline, I think we're about to lose you, so let me find a way to get across. Now, as we further in the conversation, she has pointed out how, there are ways that it's being used for bad. So as the conversation goes on, I would also like to know, what are some ways that technology can also be used.
People, the thing where they happen for my area,
Do you think I will now find out that you have contract to bring fresh girls?
I brought you from gutters. Who gave you all the connects? MDG who? Without me, you would have been nobody. But I
join Media Coalition and Awareness to halt human trafficking. MICAT on I Wish I Knew Radio Drama every Saturday at 10 a.m. Let us join hands and human trafficking out of our communities. I Wish I Knew Radio Drama, brought to you by MICAT Nigeria.
Eagles 102.3 FM Abuja. We apologize for the mix-up and a little here and there. We sincerely apologize, and we've been trying to get Caroline back on the line, but we do now. So hi, ma'am. So good to have you back, and we apologize again.
It's fine. Nice to have you again too. Sorry for the break in transmission.
It's fine. So we are still talking about technology, and before we had that little issue, you were mentioning how these traffickers are using this technology for bad. So please, are you done with your thoughts, or you would like to add something to that?
Okay, so because I'm not sure how much you heard and where you heard that too, so I think I'm just going to do a recap. I spoke about online recruitment and grooming, where they post most times job opportunities, and it turns out to be fake, and then these people are lured into the process. And sometimes caged in one room, in one godforsaken place, we can have victims injected with trackers that allows them to monitor the movement of victims in such that they cannot escape. And when they try to make efforts to escape, they are caught, and you get so all of that. Again, that's for coercion and control. Not even report the situation to anybody, because even sometimes they are threatened, they are blackmailed. They can use maybe sex videos to blackmail these people, because sometimes victims would rather keep quiet than have their faces go on social media and all of that to avoid shame and reproach in the society. So there's this form of blackmail that comes with it as well, and also some form of death threats that could also happen in the process. So they can tell you something like, if you try to run away, we are going to kill you, we are going to kill your family members. And because I don't want my family members to be killed, I'd rather...
So now that we've looked at how these traffickers are using it for bad, how can this technology then be used to prevent human trafficking?
The first measure is one of what we are doing right now, radio programming. We can use social media platforms like IG, where we have online live recordings for programs like this, and people get to watch them, and awareness is created and is spreading. People get to know that, first of all, there is something called human trafficking. It is existing, because most people are not even aware that something like this is going on. And then we also need to educate them on the tactics or patterns on how these things could happen, and how they could turn victims if they are not aware and if they are not careful. And then secondly, there are AI inventions and innovations going on right now. We see them with ChatGPTs and chat boxes and all of that. We, government, even private organizations and CSOs can invest in the creation and use of AI tools, which could help or aid in early detection, especially the law enforcement agencies, because detect. So sometimes we only get to find out when the deed has been done, and most times when the victims are trying to escape, an alarm is raised. So tech could also help strengthen law enforcement, like I already mentioned. And we can have AI tools that help voice recognition, facial recognition, like we see in sophisticated movies like that. We can have things like this in Nigeria and also spread. These are ways that we could help and
great.
Improve cybersecurity as well.
Great. I like where you're going with this, because you even mentioned that these are things we see in movies, and because we see them in movies, actually a reality for some people in some countries. So now let's talk about
the movies that you watch are actually expressions of people's reality.
Exactly.
So they don't use the real cast, they don't use the people who are the reasons and survivors from the acts.
All right, so now let's talk about online platforms. We have social media platforms and online market places. How do these platforms play, or what role do these platforms play?
This particular question, thank you again for it, has somehow been answered in the first question. So you can see, for example, if you go on Instagram right now, you can see job placement advertisements, and most of them do not even have open chats, comment sections where people can, oh, this is not real, this is real, right? And then you see some groups on WhatsApp that are not monitored. Even the Telegram platform, some people have taken advantage of the Telegram platform to lure people into this app. So all of these things, so boycott the expensive process of getting educational, study opportunities abroad, and before you know it, you're taken out of the country, your passport is seized, you're locked up. So social media actually facilitates this, because it's almost impossible to regulate the kind of posts that are made, the kind of people who register register on these platforms and what they do with their accounts, right? So we have this job offers, the study abroad ads, and all of that. And then social media is another platform for overseas merchants. And we should also know that trafficking can happen within the borders of Nigeria as well as it happens internationally. So we can have overseas merchants who before now would naturally want to travel to Nigeria to say, okay, let me go and find somebody I know that can do this business with. But now we have social media. I can stay in my room in London and just go online, look at one person on one person's profile and chat the person up. I just need to give the person very convincing promises on Facebook. And because the economy is not very favorable, the person would never
I'll take it.
want to buy people to pay social amounts. It's cool business, so everybody wants to do it. So you see that social media allows them to do that. It also allows recruiters to be anonymous in their dealings, in the sense that I could be a lady recruiting and I could have the picture of a man, a different name that has nothing to do with my national identity. So I am almost untraceable. Nobody knows that it is a woman behind the act. They can only see a face. Sometimes you can even just have AI generated pictures as profile pictures. And people who are vulnerable do not even have the time to want to investigate. They are all drawn to the promises attached by the conversations that they have and all that.
Very true.
Yeah.
All right.
Then we also have...
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
We still have social platforms like for the marketplaces, such as the dark web marketplaces where they use to exchange these people. Those kind of transactions happen there a lot, and it's almost impossible to even trace them, right? And then we have blockchain platforms where people can transfer, merchants and middlemen can transfer money through cryptocurrencies and other currencies that exist and all that. And you wouldn't even know, you cannot trace it because you just feel like it's normal crypto trading. So these are the few ways that social media can aid it.
Yeah, and I'm glad that you're able to point out like practical things about, how it looks like trading and then it's not, because a lot of people do these things and they do not even know what they're getting themselves into. Now, as an expert in your field, I am sure you've had to work with a lot of data. And when it comes to data analytics, especially in human trafficking now, how has that been able to give you some form of insight into the work you are doing? How does it help you to combat human trafficking?
Okay, so data analytics, first of all, as the name implies, is a process of collecting and critically analyzing data, so much so that you get information and use them for informed decision. And in this line of migration, data analytics, we have collected interviews and data in the form of interviews, survey questionings and all that, testimonies from victims who are now survivors that have been rescued in the process and are willing to share their testimonies. And this has helped us to track what we can call pattern. This has helped us to open our eyes to some form of hotspots. It has also opened our eyes to some form of recruitment tactics. Like I mentioned before, you can see tactics around job exploration, study abroad options, and all of that. This has helped us to know that, okay, it is happening, and this is somehow how it is happening. This is how it's happening based on the victims that we've had, the survivors that we've had to interview and help reintegrate it back into the society. So data analytics actually helps to track hotspots. So if we want to go back to law enforcement, it can help them to track recruitment languages. So these are the kind of code that recruiters use. These are the kind of statement that they use. And so while we are doing our advocacy campaign and all that, it helps us to also educate those people. So we're not just telling them that human trafficking exists, is real. We're also telling them that, okay, these are the kind of language that you can hear, because once you hear something like, oh, we are going to give you 10 million naira, I'm just saying, for a job of 1 hour, you can know that, okay, how possible is that? I'm not saying that it is not possible, but then it can kind of helps you to open your mind to opportunities like that and allows you to critically question those kind of things when you see them. Yes. Also for security, it has helped to track travel patterns. So how do these people travel? You know that they don't do straight routes and they don't do the irregular migration pathways, right? They don't do the regular migration pathways. They go irregularly in the sense that they give fake documents and they help you. So they try to make you feel like, okay, they're helping you avoid the normal checks and all. And most times they don't even go through the airport. In short, they won't go to the airport because the security system there is tight. So they go mostly through the deserts, through the Mediterranean seas, and that's where you get trends of people dying and all of that happening. So this data analytics allows us to monitor travel patterns, allows us to monitor even transaction patterns. How do they get their monies? How do they get payment for these victims that they are recruiting and sending abroad? Or how do they get payment for these things? These are the questions that data analytics helps you to answer. And in my line of work as a program officer, like I mentioned earlier, it helps us to critically plan, design awareness programs and then communication strategies. So we're not just speaking, we're speaking in the language that people understand and can literally see. And when they see, they can identify. Yes, thank you.
Absolutely amazing. I'm so happy, that we have something like this even going on, because then it makes our efforts even easier. And I know that there are some challenges to it sometimes, but at least we're able to use technology for good. Now, I would like to just quickly apologize to the callers that won't be taking any calls today because of the little glitch we had. Time is flying and we have a lot to talk about. So even the questions I would have really loved us to analyze in details. We'll just keep it to really important questions. And one of which is what I'm getting into now. What emerging technologies or trends do you think will play or are playing a significant role in the fight against human trafficking in the future and presently?
Emerging trends and technology and trends that we can use in this fight against human trafficking now and in the future. Because we are speaking about technology, and we can attest to the fact that AI is doing a lot of things, is making our work a lot easier, is assisting us, like the definition of technology, helping to improve our capacity, helping to fill the gaps where we're missing, right? So if we can invest more in AI generated or enabled, empowered tools, tools that can help us for trafficking, especially for the law agencies and all that, tools that can help us to monitor these patterns, it will really go a lot with them, in the sense that applications, account openings and account usage and all that, these are things that we cannot do from our end. But because they are the ones who designed it, because they are the ones who launched it, because they are the ones currently managing it, it is very possible for them to do that. That is why I am saying that they can leverage on public-private partnership, and we believe that it is going to help, right? And then collaboration with this sector will also help, and data analysis that we can have available to us if the managers of these platforms or the app producers do not give us access to. So one of the challenges of using AI, we're going to talk about that. One of the challenges was going to be data privacy and insufficient or availability of data, access to this data. If they don't give us access to this data, we can work hand in hand. And you see that while we are also doing from our end in terms of advocacy and policy with regards to the government, it will go a long way in fighting the use of social media in terms of human.
All the well, so you know that she knows what she's talking.
Let's try to advocate with the positions that we have, if we can advocate for some of these measures to be put in place and made effective, because it is one thing to have these measures put in place, and it is another thing to implement them and effectively implement them. So as much as we can, let's spread the word across the channels that we have. Use your social media platform. That's why tech is there. If you have opportunity to radio programs, we speak about it. Human trafficking issue, and tech, as much as has advantages, is also used in a way that it should not be used. This is my final words. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you so much, Caroline Godwin. Have the best of your day.
Thank you, Ma'am Joan.
All
It was a
right.
pleasure again.
It was a pleasure. And to you, our listener out there, I hope we were able to say something is to guide you, it's to help you. And like we would always say, it's not something we say, oh, we can never be victims and we'll pray. It is something that we have to shine our eyes. We have to be open-minded about that. It is a war that needs to be won, and it starts when everybody puts their hands on deck to get the work done. Until we come your way again next week, same time, 10 to 10:30, right here on Eagles 102.3 FM Abuja. It is the I Wish I Knew radio program and drama, and my name still remains Diltu Joan. Keep listening to Eagles 102.3 FM Abuja.
On weekend. At last. Spend this holiday locked in. My body got rid of them toxins. Who's ready for winter? Woo! Nobody? Me either. 102.3. Fool if I cannot tell you no letting go. For you, I put my pride aside.